Everyone in the building knew apartment 3B was vacant. The last tenant left in June, and the unit was sealed for renovation. 2 layers of blue tape crossed the door like a cartoon X. The leasing office kept saying delays, permits, supply chain. So when footsteps started pacing above 2B after midnight, slow, steady, with the drag of a tired heel, Maya Torres assumed pipes, wind, imagination. The steps paused right over her bed. She held her breath and counted to 10. The ceiling clicked like someone shifted their weight. Maya worked nights at the 24-hour grocery store on Fulton. She clocked out at 2:15 a.m., rode the bus, and slipped into her apartment at 2:40. The liminal time when the city felt hollowed out. She ate cereal from the box, showered, and put on a low-volume sitcom for company. On August 12th, the TV cut off mid-ad. The silence came first. Then 3 knocks traveled through the ceiling, spaced like someone thinking. A faint scrape followed. The sound of furniture dragged an inch and then stopped. In the morning, she called the number on her lease. The landlord, Paul, said he'd swing by. He texted that evening. 3B still sealed. No one's up there. He added a thumbs up as if that settled it. Maya said okay and started sleeping with headphones. An Ocean playlist couldn't drown the steps, which now moved from the bedroom corner to directly above the kitchen sink. By the end of the week, the sounds had learned her schedule. When she rattled her keys in the hall, the footsteps retreated. When she stood under the ceiling vent, the knocks returned. One night, a cough, a man's cough, bloomed above her like a hand over her mouth. She told her friend Cass at breakfast. "Maybe a squatter got in through the roof," Cass said. "Call the police." Maya laughed because it felt dramatic, because she was tired, because the idea made her want to cry. That night, she pushed the broom handle through the vent grate and tapped 3 times. 3 taps answered, perfectly spaced. She didn't scream. She froze, eyes on the vent, cheeks hot with shame for having asked a question she couldn't handle answered. She slept sitting up with the lights on, an old blanket around her shoulders like a cape. On her day off, she decided to document it. She set her phone on a chair aimed at the ceiling, hit record, and whispered the date and time. "Proof," she told the low room. She locked her door and walked to the corner diner to wait out the night, bringing a novel she couldn't read. When she returned at 9 a.m., the chain was still on, the deadbolt still turned, the phone was gone. In its place, on her pillow, lay a folded $20 bill and a receipt from the hardware store 2 blocks over for padlock, spray foam, batteries. Paul said she probably misplaced the phone. When she mentioned the receipt, his tone changed. "You're sure you didn't invite anyone up there?" he asked, like a math teacher drawing a box around a wrong number. She wondered when she'd told him about the noises at all. He texted first, after all, he always did. That evening, she taped a lined notebook page to the ceiling above her bed. "Who are you?" she wrote in block letters. She slept at Cass's place on a couch that smelled like dog and eucalyptus. At 2:17 a.m., her smoke alarm chirped once in an empty apartment. In the morning, Maya returned to find her note gone, replaced by another. "Don't tell him." The office across the courtyard had a blue sign, leasing. Inside, a woman behind a monitor asked for Maya's unit. "2B," Maya said. "I think someone has a key to my place." The woman nodded and asked for the landlord's name. "Paul Heron," Maya said. The woman tilted her head. "Paul doesn't handle your building," she said carefully. "Your owner's name is David Ng. I can give you his email." "I pay Paul in cash every month," Maya said, hearing the flatness of her own voice. The woman printed a ledger. The last 6 months were marked as unpaid. "We posted notices," she said softly, but they were gone the next day. Maya pictured the blue tape on 3B, the crisp X. She pictured a hand peeling paper from her door and folding it small. She went home at noon with a stack of photocopies and the feeling of being breakable. Her door was unlocked. She had locked it. She was sure she had locked it. The living room smelled like someone else's laundry detergent and fresh paint. On the kitchen counter lay her phone, screen black, storage wiped. The charger wasn't hers. Her chest went tight. She ran up the stairs to 3B and found the lock mangled, the tape sliced, the door shrugged open. The apartment had been stripped to bones, drywall open to studs, insulation tucked like felt. In the corner stood a folding cot, a 5-gallon bucket with a lid, an unplugged lamp, a crate with ramen and protein bars and a plastic water jug. On the floor, banded with a rubber band, was a pile of paper, rent receipts, all from 2B, all signed Paul H. in neat, blocky print. She dialed 911. The responding officer looked like he'd been awake for 2 days. He asked about cameras. "Only the lobby," Maya said. A man from operations arrived with a keycard reader and a laptop. He pulled the panel from the wall. The building's entry log appeared in neat rows of time, date, door, card ID. A single keycard had accessed 2B 4 times between 1 mile and 3 mile AM that week. The same card had opened 3B 5 times. The card number mapped to Heron, P maintenance, expired. "How does an expired card still work?" Maya asked. "If no one deactivates it, it's just a label," operations said. He pulled an old headshot from HR. It was the same man who texted her rent reminders and said 3B was sealed. 2 detectives came the next afternoon. A neighbor had seen a man sleeping in a gray sedan behind the hardware store. They drove Maya to identify him. Paul looked smaller in daylight, his beard patchy, his eyelids heavy. They found a ring of keys, a stack of folded notices to vacate with 2B Torres half-typed, and a spiral notebook of cash collected. 12 names, only 3 matched actual tenants. At the station, he told a story that stretched thin. He'd been a temp maintenance worker, let go last year. He kept his key when no one asked for it back and crashed in vacant units. When Maya reported noises, he panicked. He told himself he'd leave. He told himself he'd check on her to make sure she wasn't scared. "How did my phone end up wiped on my counter?" Maya asked. "I wanted to see what you were recording," he said. "I brought it back. I left you 20 for the trouble." He said he'd never hurt her. He said he only listened. The building's owner, David Ung, called Maya the next morning. He apologized without euphemisms. Locks would be changed that day. She wouldn't owe rent for the month. The company would reimburse her for the missing phone and the days she missed work. Maya thought of the ledger stamped unpaid and said nothing. She walked through 2B one last time with a clipboard from the owner's office, a lock contractor, and a cleaner who smiled with his eyes. The air smelled like cut metal and lemon. Every lock was new. The vent was sealed with a metal plate. She opened cabinets and found nothing. She lay back and stared at the ceiling and saw paint. She told the detective she was moving. Paul pled to felony burglary and unlawful entry. He had no violent record, no weapon. The sentencing felt small against the months of being watched. Maya took the restitution check and moved to a building where the super fixed the radiator herself. She set her phone to chime every time the deadbolt turned. The first week she woke to silence so thick it rang in her ears and cried into the pillow. People in the old building still tell the story of the girl who knew something was wrong before anyone believed her. They talk about trusting the small alarm inside your body even when the forms say current and the tape says sealed. They point to the entry log from the night Paul was arrested, which shows 1 extra scan at 3:16 a.m., hours after he was in custody. Operations later explained that a door in offline mode pushed old entries when it reconnected, time-stamped by the moment it rejoined. The detective shrugged. The owner sent an email. The tenants nodded. The story retreated to something explainable. That's not the part Maya remembers anyway. She remembers the exact quiet after the TV went black. The way silence has a temperature, how it pressed against the room until the first knock landed. She remembers how the sound made a shape of her life. Work, bus, keys, light, knock. How she stepped out of it and did not go back.